Hi, hello and welcome back to the tutorial series JavaScript Hope. It's distinct and powerful. And this is the part 4 of this video tutorial series. And actually in the previous video, I was telling that we are going to study about inheritance in the next video. And I'm really sorry, but we are going to learn about JavaScript prototypes here. I mean, we are going to continue our old topic itself. And that's because I was asking with my friend about my previous video, and he was telling, wow, that prototype tutorial is awesome, but I feel something is missing there. And actually he felt like we have more to learn about prototypes. Yeah, he is right. We have more to learn about JavaScript prototypes and prototypal pattern. So the content of this video is we are going to learn the advantages and disadvantages of prototypal pattern. Okay, and next the difference between the constructor pattern and the prototypal pattern. Okay, so let's dive into the code. So I have copied some of the old codes here. So this is the constructor pattern by which we created the human class, and this is the prototypal pattern by which we created the class, right? So in our previous video we were learning how we can use these prototypes to assign a property, a method to the class, but we don't know why we did it, right? We don't know the advantage or disadvantage of that. So let us see the advantage and disadvantage of this prototypal pattern. So let us go with constructor pattern first. I have created a class human by constructor pattern, and I have just created 2 instances of it, and I'm just logging it in the console. Yeah, cool, it's working fine. So what I have to do now is, okay, now let me call the talk function. So talk. So now it will be displaying the name. Hi, my name is Vinesh. Hi, my name is Anand. So now my requirement is, I don't want hi, my name is Vinesh. It is little long. I just need hi, I am Vinesh. So what will we do? So actually what we have to do is we have to override this method. Am I right? Yeah, we have to override. So how we are going to do this in constructor pattern? Actually, there is no way to override this talk method directly in this class. Because you know what? Actually, when you created a new instance of this human and assign it to the Vinesh object, new object, right? So this Vinesh object will be having its own property name, age, talk, and greet, as you see here. Oh, I'll show you. So this Vinesh is having his own properties: name, greet, age, greet, name, and talk. They are not inside the prototype. So this Vinesh object is having its own property: age, greet, name, and talk. So if I want to override and I have to make hi I am Vinesh, then I have to override this talk method of the Vinesh object. Okay, so the only way to override is I have to write like this: Vinesh dot talk. So now I am overriding the talk method of the Vinesh object, not of the human class. Okay, so I'm overriding it. I'm writing it again, right? Oh, okay. So that is what we call as overriding. So I'm copying this and I'm putting this here, and I'm changing this to I am, and now I'm calling Vinesh dot talk. So now, hi, I am Vinesh, which is the expected output. But hi, my name is Anand. I need Anand also to tell as hi, I am Anand. So what I have to do? I have to override the talk method of Anand object. So I have to write it again. So if I override this too, so now I will be getting the expected output. So anyhow, we get the expected result, but it is not good to override the method of each object. Am I right? Yeah. So to overcome this disadvantage of constructor pattern, we jump into the prototypal pattern. So how we will be doing this with the prototypal method? So let me show that to you. So I have commented it. I'm in the constructor button. I have commented and uncommented the prototypal button, and I have removed this too. So now the output will be hi, my name is Vinesh, and hi, my name is Anand from here. So now I want to overwrite, okay, to hi, I am Vinesh, or hi, I am Anand. So I just have to write this function again. I mean, I have to overwrite, and I'm writing I am. So you must see this. I'm overriding the prototype talk of the human class. But in the constructor pattern, we are overriding the methods of the created instance. So that is the difference. So as I'm directly overriding the talk method of the human class, just see what happens now. And I have changed, yeah. Both the instance are outputting hi, I am Vinesh and hi, I am Anand. That is, both the created object have overridden that talk property. So this is one of the advantage of using prototypal methods. I mean prototypal method. So when we are using the constructor pattern, it is difficult for us to override some methods. But if you are using prototypal pattern, it is very easy to overwrite a method. Okay. So what actually happens here is, as I told, when you are creating the new instance from the constructor pattern, the object created object will be having its own properties, name, age, talk, and greet. But when you are using prototypal pattern, they don't have their own property, but those talk, greet methods are in their prototypes. So as you see here, it is not having its own property talk, right? It is inside the proto. Okay. So what happens here actually is, when we are calling Vinesh.talk, actually this Vinesh is not having its own property talk, so it will be sharing the prototype of human class. You don't create a separate talk method for this Vinesh instance. Instead, it uses the prototype talk from the human class. So it is not creating the talk and greet method again and again when you are creating new instances. But if you are using the constructor method, the talk and greet method is created inside all the objects. I mean, in Vinesh and Anand, it is created again and again. So the memory usage when we are using the constructor pattern is high, more, right? But when you are using the prototypal pattern, as it is sharing the methods, so the memory usage is little bit less than the constructor pattern. Cool. So one more difference is, when you are using the constructor pattern, right, the object created by the constructor pattern will be having its own functions, own properties. So when we are going to access those properties, it will be quite faster, okay, because it is having its own property. But when you create a object using the prototypal method, it will be little bit slower because it doesn't have its own property. Instead, it have to go to the prototype and search for that particular method. Got it? Okay, so now we know a little bit advantage and disadvantage of the prototypal pattern. So I want to show you something interesting. We have a property called, a method in every object called has one property. Let me show you a demo. um Now I'm using the constructor button. I have just commented this. Okay, so now I'm just going to console something. I'm just I have created the object Vinesh as a new instance of the human class as constructor button, and now I am in for loop. With the help of for loop, I am looping all the properties of that particular object. So this is the syntax for that. For I in Vinesh, that means for every property in the Vinesh object. So I am just checking whether it is the own property of that particular class. Now when I refresh the page, yeah, name is one property, and the age is one property, talk is one property, and greet is one property when you are using the constructor method. So actually, console.log vins, right? Okay, yeah, human is having its own property age, own property greet, own property name, own property talk, that is displayed here. And now I'm going to use the prototypal pattern. So I'm just commenting the constructor pattern, and now you see human is having own property name and age, but it is not having its own property greet and talk. It's inside the prototype, and the expected output is here. For talk and greet, they are not the own property, so it's false. So this has own property function helps us. It's actually a method in every object. Okay, so it helps us to identify which are its own property and which are the prototype properties. Cool, right? Yeah. So I'm going to show you one more disadvantage of using our lovely prototypal pattern. Okay, so what is the disadvantage? I haven't taught you about private properties in our class, so let's see that. So we can actually declare a private variable inside our class, and the way to do that is we have to use the var keyword. I'm just I'm just making a private variable in our human class in the constructor pattern, and the private variable's name is lifespan and the value is 89. And now I'm going to create one more method. Okay, and the method is tell lifespan. Okay, so this method is going to return the lifespan of that particular human. So this is the private property. Lifespan is the private property. So I'll show you that. Console.log Vinesh. So as this is the private property, we cannot access it directly by the Vinesh object. As you see here, we just have age, greet, name, talk, and tell lifespan, but we don't have the lifespan private variable here. So when you try to access it, it will be giving you undefined dot lifespan. Yeah, undefined. So this is a private variable. Okay, so I have created a new method lifespan. Okay, so I'm just calling it. So my lifespan is 89. Yeah, my lifespan is. So inside the public function, inside the class, we can actually access the private variable. So it is accessed here. Lifespan is 89. So this is cool. And now I'm going to try the same in our prototypal pattern. Yeah. So prototypal pattern. Okay, I have to just copy this, Control C and Control V. So now we have the lifespan private property in our prototypal pattern too. So I am going to write the method the same way I have written here, right? Lifespan, lifespan. My lifespan is lifespan. So you know what? The disadvantage is we cannot access this private variable inside a method you write using the prototype. That is, this lifespan cannot be accessed here. And now if you run this, you will be getting an error. And code reference error, lifespan is not defined. So this is one of the worst disadvantage of prototype pattern. Okay, so I hope you understand something about the advantage and disadvantage of prototype pattern, and where to and actually where to use this constructor pattern and where to use this prototypal patterns. If you are using you're in your project, you are just going to use a small class and you are just going to create only a small number of instances, then you can use the constructor pattern, because the constructor pattern is fast in accessing the methods. So if you're going to use only limited number of instances and limited number of methods, you can use this constructor pattern. But if you're going to write a bigger class, definitely you must use prototype pattern, because if you are going to create a bigger class and you are going to create lot of instances in your project, you must definitely go with prototypal pattern. And that's because if you're creating more and more instances, then if you're writing it in constructor pattern, the methods will be created again and again in each instances. So the memory usage will be terribly big. But if you are using prototypal pattern, the methods won't be created again and again in each instance. Instead, it is sharing the prototype of the class from which you are creating that object, right? So the usage of this constructor pattern and prototypal pattern is completely relying on the project you are working on. Cool. Yeah, so this is the end of this tutorial. I'm in the part 4, and I'll meet you in part 5, and most probably the topic will be inheritance. See you then. Bye bye. See you.